Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Sunday, November 10th, 2019. If you're watching the VOD on YouTube, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you are so inclined, head on over to twitch.tv/OtakuShowboat to leave a follow to be notified when I go live Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to approximately 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. You can follow me on Twitter at OtakuShowboat, visit my website at otakushowboat.com, help support my continued existence on Patreon at patreon.com/OtakuShowboat, as well as take part in my growing community on Discord. The link is in the description below this video. If you are watching live on Twitch, you can do !Discord for that link as well. You can also help support Pyanodon's mods development at patreon.com/Pyanodon. So I guess first things first today, I must briefly talk about the fact that Cole passed away overnight going into Friday. So that was very sad, very unfortunate. I was not able to bring myself to do recording on that day. So while I had originally planned for there to be a what to do at Blue Science tutorial for Pyanodon's mods going live today, that it's not happening. It's not going live today. Absolutely not. That will hopefully be part of the normal cycle going forward, which will ideally go live on Tuesday, and we will keep on recording from there. This may also disrupt my Autonauts playthrough at this point in time. I'm thinking that, actually, I might want to wait a little bit for continuing Autonauts, just because I am waiting on the next version, because right now beta is literally beta on the beta branch, and there's a lot of issues with robots just breaking. So that I want to see resolved going forward, and the beta offers too many fixes to really go back. So yeah, sort of caught between a rock and a hard place with Autonauts. I think that's just going to be delayed going forward. So yeah, we won't have a kitty anymore, at least for some time, showing up in the videos. I think Cole's last appearance is in an Autonaut video that's either up or going up soon. That'll be the last time you see him visiting, and the last time you'll hear him, most likely, is in one of the Morrowind videos from the stream on Thursday. Didn't show him on Thursday, but he was with me and meowed a little bit, and I shifted him to my lap without showing him on the screen. At that point on Thursday, he was completely unable to walk by himself, so we were basically just carrying him and shuttling him around on that day, and yeah, he didn't survive the night. And I was in no state to do any recording whatsoever on Friday. So if it seems like there's nothing wrong with me today, which there should, I am not 100% the way that I was prior, but I'm definitely much improved from Friday. I couldn't speak the words with a straight face at all on Friday. So, one other thing, I want to remind folks that coming up on the 17th, so next week, we will be preempting the streams for Pokemon Sword and Shield. We will not be playing Pyanodon's mods next week unless I somehow manage to get another, 99.5-ish dollars through the various methods of support, either through subs, through bits, through direct tips, or through Patreon. Just as a simple financial situation here, I can't add more stream time because I do want to stream Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I'm going to stream it anyway. I can't add additional stream time without that cutting into how much money I earn by working. So it's a pretty simple calculation. I have to get something to stream more. If you would rather not have any content preempted during that week or two after the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield. So just note that from the 17th onward, until I complete either version, we'll be not streaming either the Pi playthrough or the Morrowind playthrough at that time. And of course, I will not stream on November 28th, which is United States Thanksgiving Day on the 28th, which means that the 29th is also Black Friday. Oh, I am not prepared. I am not prepared for that. You could also vote for which version as well as which starter to use for the Pokemon Sword and Shield playthrough on my Discord server. You can do !Discord in the Twitch chat for that information, or enter it through the link below the video if you're watching the VOD and it's not past the 17th yet, because that's when I'll be starting the streamed playthrough of that. So, all that said, Pyanodon, A, is here, and B, released the Mark 2 through 4 versions of the Pi high-tech stuff. So let's actually load up the game and get into that. I briefly played a little bit this morning, loaded up the stream save, made a new save after the import and all of that, and set up the automation of the Mark 2 and 3 and 4 buildings. By the way, I think there's some tweaks that might need to be made. Just my initial thoughts looking at the new recipes. But we'll see going forward. Basically, I already have, I think the Mark 4 recipes unlock a little too early. That's, my first thought, is that a number of the Mark 4 recipes unlock a little bit early. What is RSO update here? Alright, that's not a thing I need. By the way, we are also no longer running active the Fluid Must Flow. The most recent update of Fluid Must Flow broke the mod with Squeak Through also installed. So if you have Squeak Through and Fluid Must Flow in their most recent versions, I'm pretty sure that they are just not working together properly. And if given the choice between one or the other, I absolutely choose Squeak Through. So I did a few things off screen. Not too much. Friday I didn't record, so I've just been both Friday and yesterday trying to just play games, just trying to enjoy something, get my mind off of things. I moved my iron a little bit. Just a little bit. I moved the iron around, shifted things a bit to get it moving again because we were all tapped out on that current location. This just, delays the inevitable, but still, it keeps the main bus moving for now. I think I'll just replace the ore input with ground boring. Maybe if I really want to keep the stuff going. New base? No, we are not on a new base. This is our existing base. That's just the old ancient iron mining that I had. Mortal Sniper, that's just what the main bus part of the base was using for its iron setup. I just was out there because that's the last thing that I did this morning, was replace all of that. Aww. I'm glad to see my rock finder is working very well today. My rock finder is working incredibly well today. So, I have to remember, actually, what did I do last time? What did I do last time? I've completely forgotten. I made silver zinc alloy, and I did prep work for biopolymer. We can make biopolymer the moment I unlock Fusion Energy Mark III tech. So that's basically what we did last time. Over the course of 3 hours, yeah. We did lots of, like, fixing of things, but also set up the stuff for the biopolymer. And by the looks of it, biopolymer is, like, the one thing that's needed for a lot of, like, our initial Mark III stuff. So a lot of Mark III stuff becomes available the moment I get biopolymer in non-zero amounts, which is going to be fantastic. What time is it here? 10:13 a.m. That's what time it is right now, out here. That's all moving just fine. So one thing I was also doing off screen that we will get to up here momentarily is I have a secondary line of sand castings. I have a line of sand castings that's come down, been brought down. I don't remember what line that was. Up here. This. Yes, in the morning. So right here, I've made great use of my extreme fast underground belts that have a underground distance in... Yes, the army does 24-hour format, but that's the army. That's just the way we are. We do AM PM. AM for whatever the heck it means, after midnight. So I've made use of these undergrounds with their really long underground distance to provide sand castings, because I noticed I wasn't getting any sand castings. This is supposed to be a mixed belt of borax and sand castings post meridian, yeah, and then that's PM, and then whatever A is before the meridian. Can you show us the map? Yes, I can show you the map. Here is the map. That doesn't tell you too awfully much, besides the fact that I've got a really big robot base up here. This is how we started, down in here. We've got, like, little branches off. This is actually crude oil, fuel oil, that's, like, redundant. I'm not even using any of this anymore. Not even using much of this anymore. I've got a little bit of not salt coming in here because we are tapped out, so not saline, it exists over here. This is the iron mining, but we're not that's not actually the primary iron anymore. Nor is this the primary source of lead in here. It's like, nor is this the primary source of lead, nor is this the primary source of nickel. This is the primary source of niobium, though. Which, that was another thing I need to investigate. I am lacking steel from up above, but yeah, this is the base. in which this is new. This is new. I added this off screen between the last episode and this episode. This is sulfur. This also uses my new design for my grid. I have redesigned, set up a new pattern for my grid that I will use going forward as the grid grows. And this pattern it's like a gap of 15 between the big electric poles with sets of recharging stations on the inside flanks. So we've effectively got here, I don't even know how much, a gap of 9-ish between the two. So enough to ride a car down, basically, here. And it's set up in a different length than before. Just a different length. It's somewhat aligned with stuff, but it's actually really hard to... It's like, why did they not design with chunks in mind with the distance of the lines on the poles? It's perfect if you put a pole on the inside of a chunk, right on the inside of a chunk. That's perfect distance on the inside of a chunk, within a chunk. But you can't tile that. You would have to have a pole here and a pole right next to it if you want it to be chunk aligned like that. And that looks ugly. So if given the choice between being chunk aligned or not, we're going to be not. It's rather dumb. And then why does and then it's similar with the substations as well. They don't actually properly align to chunks. Like, huh? Why? That makes no sense. Makes no sense to me. So, anyway, let's go and have a look at these Mark II through 4 Pi high-tech buildings. Or at least the recipes for them. Because I think there's a few things that might need to be adjusted. Just a few small bits in recipes to adjust. Off the top of my head, I can think of how the Mark II particle accelerator basically is using Mark III ingredients compared to everything else. Which is probably intentional, but anyway. Just a thing to note is that it's using... The Mark II particle accelerator building uses different materials that are more consistent with the Mark III buildings than the Mark II. And then the Mark III uses the Mark IV stuff, and then I don't even have the access to the Mark IV yet. So yeah, as I said, a few inconsistencies to note that we will see once I get up to the main part of the base. May as well park this car here. So I built this near where I built the Mark II through 4 of the fusion energy buildings. So up here, particle accelerator. The Mark II particle accelerator uses circuit board 3s, superconductors, and graphene rolls. This is ostensibly a Mark III building, but it's Mark II. The Mark III uses intelligent units and hyperelastic material. But the other stuff at Mark II So it's kinda correct. Well, anyway, so this building, the FB reactor Mark II, no circuit 2s. Circuit 3s on the Mark III, circuit 4s on the Mark IV, no circuit 2s on the Mark II. No circuit 2 on the Mark II FB reactor. That's the that's one of the things to note. Everything else is looking somewhat okay here. Yeah, I think everything else looks fine. It was just those two things to notice. Like, this is ostensibly ingredients in Mark III. I mean, graphene is fine. I mean, it's fine to use these and have it unlock then. It's like, then I fear what the Mark IV is going to look like, because I also have all of this Mark IV stuff unlocked. And the, this particle accelerator and then this thing, the nano assembler Mark IV, aren't available yet. So, particle accelerator and the other one, Mark IV, unlock with Penrose, along with singularity extractor. So I could unlock those techs to get access to the Mark IVs, but... Alright, so we've got heavy fermion, intelligent units, quantum vortex storage systems. Like, this isn't a big, I don't think this is a big jump in terms of materials over the previous. And it's all going to be materials that you need anyway, right? So, that'll be fine. But the Mark IV ingredients just in general are like... Well, the big hurdle here is just intelligent units. Intelligent units and hyperelastic material, and you can, like, make the majority of this. Because you'll have everything else by then. But, yeah, why do you not have niobium? But yeah, so something like this. This FB Reactor Mark III, I can make right now. So, I was actually looking at this other stuff. And the, let's see, what is this one? The Clay Pit Mark III. I can make this right now, because it does not require biopolymer. This uses biopolymer. This uses biopolymer. FB Reactor 3 does not use biopolymer. This, of course, is more Mark IV than Mark III. This uses biopolymer. This uses biopolymer. This uses biopolymer. But these two, the FB Mark III and the Clay Pit Mark III, do not require biopolymer. That's the other, like, inconsistency to make note of here, is that these two don't use biopolymer, but all of the others do. Well, except particle accelerator, but particle accelerator... Not even the Mark II uses biopolymer, but anyway, just outside of the inconsistency that is the particle accelerator to begin with, the Clay Pit and the FB reactor just don't use biopolymer. And the rest do. And they, of course, use graphene rolls and all that good stuff. Do I even have any, like, on the network? It doesn't look like it. They all get used in Circuit Board 3 production anyway. Speaking of which, why do I just not have niobium? There's a few things that we need to work on today. Just a few bottlenecks that need to be stomped into oblivion. Now, I will also note that adjustments need to be made, because we went from, what was it, 6 module slots to 1. We went from 6 down to 1 on the machine, the chip shooters, across the board. So all of the math on all of the ratios of all the buildings is just thrown out the window now, because the module slot counts changed. So, yeah. Thanks. Thank you for that. Now I have to do even more adjustments. The best player for the long term. Yeah. Best / only making video content at this point. Up to this point in the game, anyway. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to forcibly make some Mark II chip shooters. Because I'm going to assume that the Mark II chip shooters are going to have at least 2 module slots. Yeah, I'm the only one recording and streaming at up to this point for Pyanodons right now. For the current full suite, I think. Whatever happened to the Catherine of Sky and Caledorn playthrough? Are they still doing that? I don't even know. And how far did they even get before they stopped? Like, I'm pretty sure they got through Green Science, at least. Did they get to Circuit 2s? It's like, did they get to Circuit 2s? I don't really know. Alright, which one's chip shooter? I think it's this one? Yes, this one. Yet another set of things to have to learn. Yet another set of icons to learn. I'm like, Particle Accelerator, this one, yeah, this one's fine. I know this. Hey, thank you for the follow. Speculian. Yes, thank you so much. You think that they hit Circuit 2s? Too hard for them. Ha. Well, a few things with their playthrough to note is that they were playing through with a very minimal amount of quality of life mods, as in basically just the to-do list added after they started, and no nanobots or anything like that, so it's like, They already handicapped themselves to begin with, plus they did not want anything spoiled, so they refused to look any information up. They wanted to do it themselves, so I guess they just couldn't get past Circuit 2s then. But yeah, I didn't really watch through all of what they did. I watched some of it though. Let's see, how many were made? Enough for now. I need even more though. Make me more. Make me more. I need all of the chip shooter machines. Now, I'm assuming that Mark 2 through 4 on the electronics factories will also have more modules as well. So that is definitely a buff for the electronics factories if they can start getting a lot more module slots, because they didn't really have that many to begin with overall. So that much is appreciated. The loss at the very end with the chip shooters is a bit more painful, though. Let's see. So we've got these 4 down. Yep, 2 there. Of course, I don't actually have any modules on me. Let's forcibly make some modules as well. Yeah, I'm sure Nilaus is fine with being able to get through the Pie Suite. Um, Not like he has really done it in the current state, though. Of course, I have a whole bunch of Mark 1 productivity modules that are being requested right now, over 200 of them, and over 350 of the level 2s, plus the requests here to make the level 2s. So we've got a lot of productivity modules just sitting around that need to be made. And it's all being bottlenecked by the amount of circuit 2s being made. So yeah, that's fantastic. Let's pick all of these up because I need to add them to my existing chip shooters. How many more are you making? One more after this one. All right. Just want to make sure that I grab them. Where do they appear? Here. 13. That'll be 14. I could make 3 Mark 2s, level 2s, but I think it would be in my best interest to just... Thank you so much, Pyanodon. Yeah. Oh. So, I think you forgot something. I think you forgot something rather important. I think you left something out that's very important on that machine. So, alright, fine. Unless and until that gets upgraded, I guess now we can just make those into level 2s. Force of habit, yeah. It's like, well, all the machines that are supposed to actually have the productivity, yeah, that's not actually define that as an available effect to use on them. So I'm going to hazard a guess and say that not only the chip shooter machines, but also all of the electronics factories are exactly the same, and every other building in here. Oh, and I saw something in the commits. Did King Arthur actually come up with a way of... I think he was able to remove the ability to use efficiency modules on all of the recipes in the particle accelerator so that you don't have to remove the building's ability itself to use efficiency modules. Was that the solution? Because if you remove the ability to use efficiency modules on a building, it completely removes the ability to use any modules on said building. Which is a bug, but still. Definitely not intended behavior. Okay. So, yeah, that's a thing. Do I have any speed modules? Of course not. Are there any, like, nearby? Yes, right here. Can I... Yes! Okay. So King Arthur did manage to avoid the issue somehow. Fixed and dodged the issue. Yeah, because you had removed consumption as an available effect on particle accelerators, it completely removed all effects. not just consumption, but also speed and productivity, but importantly here, speed being the key thing. So what you wanted was to get rid of the ability to use the efficiency modules on the particle accelerators. That, in and of itself, fine. Fine and dandy. And actually, I sort of came over here and removed all of them myself so that they weren't voided beforehand. Because I knew that the update was coming. I pre-removed all of the stuff, so none of it's voided. But basically, none of the recipes for the particle accelerator that I know of allow productivity. I think maybe some of these things. Yeah, these things do. So at least with the productivity section, the conversion recipes don't use them, but the actual item recipes that you need do, and for good reason. Like, these are intermediates, technically speaking. They do deserve it. So this was Molly. Make me Molly. Make me glorious Molly. So you can't just remove from the building itself the productivity on it. And with the removal of consumption from the building itself, disallowing any modules on the building, period, that could cause problems. Oh, that reminds me. Did he do... you need to fix the pump jacks as well. I don't know if... I didn't notice if the pump jacks were also fixed, because it's the same issue with the Pi pump jacks. This is something that I had fixed myself as well. What's happened with the pump jacks? The pump jacks can't use any modules. It's the same issue. They can't use any modules because the only effect that you defined was speed on the pump jacks. So because they don't have consumption listed, they can't use speed modules, even though you tell it that they can use speed modules. Prove it! Well, I fixed it for myself by adding the ability to use consumption on it. Where did I even make them? I made them somewhere. I did this last stream. Where did I... Seriously though, where did I put those buildings? They were over here somewhere. Where are those buildings? I know I built them. Well, this is awkward. Where did I put the pump jack buildings? Did I just not save? That could be. No, they're there. They're right here, right in front of me. So, the Pi jacks... Okay, so because it's been updated. Effectivity module cannot be used in Pump Jack 1. Speed module cannot be used in Pump Jack 1. Productivity module cannot be used in Pump Jack 1. So, in the definition of all of the buildings for all pump jacks, the Mark 1, the Mark 2, the high-tech, the Mark 3, and the Mark 4, it only defines speed. It only defines speed in the allowed effects, and because it's missing consumption, just a bug with the game, I suppose, because it does not have consumption, it does not allow any module in it. So if you put consumption on the list, you can then use consumption and speed. If you put consumption on the list, it can then use both the efficiency and speed modules. But if you don't have consumption, you can't use speed. This is why King Arthur made some script for the particle accelerators to get them to still be able to use the other modules besides efficiency in that scripted method. But anyway, so I've got high-tech pump jacks now. That's another thing that I've been like working on maybe doing is cough cough, trying to consider just how good this is. Because this is 10 salt per second for 25 drilling fluid 1 and a small part per second. I don't know, that seems cheap to me. Which is somewhat nice. Maybe. Maybe an option. Maybe an option for some point. I might think of that. Yeah, it's salt forever, but among all of the various ways of getting salt, fracking and tar are better, you think? Well, that's what I wanted to look at, was compare the tar versus the pump jack method of getting your saline. I've been meaning to go in and have a look at all of that. So anyway, what am I actually doing right now? Well, off-screen, by the way, I should note, the worker robot speed upgrades finished. So all of my worker bots are now a lot faster. And just as a reminder, I made a mod for myself that converts the techs that in the base vanilla game use no purple science but use utility science into techs that are unlocked with purple science rather than at utility, because in the Pi Suite you progress into purple and then yellow. You don't have the option to do one or the other like you do in the base game. So there needed to be some sort of rebalance around that, because you don't want to go from basically having level 2 worker robot speed immediately to level 5 as soon as you get access to utility science. You don't want to have that as that's a huge jump to go through, and then to be stuck on worker robot speed through purple science, through the whole of purple, is a bit much. Or shall we say, it's a bit slow. So a lot of the upgrades you may see in here that would usually just be a yellow science, that were vanilla techs that were a yellow rather than a purple, now are purple, because I just modded it to be that way. My own personal preference on when those things should unlock, although I did sort of just take a broad strokes across all of the things that were utility and not productivity, or production, I should say, science. Some of it should probably be both. Towards the end of some of the, like, military techs in particular should probably be both. A lot of the stuff that you unlock, you can actually build once you unlock it as well. So it's like, you had to wait until utility science to get the Mark II power armor, but it would only require circuit 3s and low density and LDS, low density structures, to make. So yeah, lots of things. what am I actually going to do today? Well, let's have a look. Last time I set this thing up, so we've got ourselves some silver zinc alloy with refined syngas. Yeah, so we've got silver zinc alloy. We also got... where did I put it? This stuff. Nel gas bacteria. That's what we did as well last time. We got the canal gas. As well as... hey! Pyanodon. Guess what we're using? That you totally complained about people not using a little while back. Yeah, we're actually using the light oil refinery. Huzzah! An actual use on the light oil refinery. Yes, OMG, someone actually using your light oil refinery. Because it's actually good for diesel. The diesel recipe is actually pretty good. Yes, diesel, this one is fine. This one is good. The petroleum gas, though, because there's also one for petroleum gas that is the same ingredients. The petroleum gas recipe that uses the same exact ingredients, I'm actually carrying around a set of these right now, so I can show you. So we've got chromium aromatics hydrogen for the diesel, chromium aromatics hydrogen for petroleum gas. The issue here, do I have any? I do have reformers. The issue here is that the reformer recipe for aromatics and hydrogen, if we look at it 1-to-1, do you see the issue here? Do you see the issue here? So the light oil recipe, on top of consuming chromium, is a worse ratio of aromatics into petroleum gas than the one that doesn't use chromium in the reformer. I mean, yeah, you could probably argue that it's a smaller footprint on the building, but... This recipe in the reformer costs more hydrogen, but hydrogen is significantly easier, smaller footprint to get hydrogen than it does to get the aromatics, even if you are getting the aromatics from mushrooms and flowers, Relesia and Falgi. This one gives you more per cycle. Yes, it's a faster building and a smaller footprint. It's consuming chromium, but it consumes more aromatics than petroleum gas. And then I think also you can't use productivity on the light oil refinery recipe, nor this one either. So you can't adjust with productivity on either of them. So yeah, that's just a thing to note, and that is why when I set up this off screen that we have yet to really talk about, that I guess I should talk about, this is my sulfur, or anything that can use petroleum gas technically. That's why I chose to go with 8 reformers. Which one using naphtha? I'm not using naphtha. Neither of these are the ones that use the naphtha. So there is an option with naphtha, but there's also one that is just hydrogen. Hydrogen. There is a naphtha one, but the one that I was looking at is hydrogen and aromatics and chromium. This recipe, this recipe is aromatics-2-pet gas 2. That's this recipe's name. Yeah, and then the one for naphtha, I was looking at that too, is like, huh, can I get naphtha easily? Well, if I want a gigantic wood setup, maybe. Maybe. But otherwise, so you were talking about potentially, there's no gasoline, or yes, here's gasoline, but that's the stripped distillates gasoline in this particular building. Now, I will also note, by the way, Pyanodon. You may want to look at the... Wait, nerf the one that uses CR? No, I'm saying that this one is worse than the Reformer recipe. This one is worse than the Reformer recipe, which is aromatics to pet gas. So you have aromatics to pet gas, and you have aromatics to pet gas 2. So aromatics pet gas, and then aromatics to pet gas 2. This recipe here is objectively better. This one in the Reformer is objectively the better recipe. The one that's just aromatics and hydrogen is objectively better. But one gives 100, the other gives 300. But one uses 400 aromatics to make that 300, and one uses 100 aromatics to make that 100. That's why this one is objectively better, because the amount of space used to make aromatics is greater than the amount of space used to make hydrogen. Ignoring the space used as well to make the chromium. Like, this recipe with the chromium, because it's using the chromium, it should be like a 200 aromatics into 300 petroleum gas. That would make this one a significantly better recipe. That would make this one worth doing if it was like half the amount of aromatics per cycle, but not as it stands. But that's just like one recipe I was considering doing to make better use of the light oil refinery, but as it stands with the light oil refinery, I just... only diesel. Like, of all the things, only diesel is decent. It is arguably the best diesel recipe is the one there, because the others, you can spend nextlit, methanol, and CO2. Well, that's quite big to get. You do get some olefins out of it, so you can feed back into methanol. You can feed back into methanol, but eh. And then naphtha, which you're not really going to get much of anyway. Or if you do try to get naphtha, it's rather large setups as well. And then hydrogen, aromatics, chromium. It's like, well, okay, I'll go. Also, again, hydrogen is objectively easier than naphtha. And chromium is technically easier than tin chromium alloy. Like, why is this 300 out? On a harder input recipe? So the diesel naphtha tin chromium should be at least 400 diesel out to make it objectively better than the alternative chromium hydrogen. Like, this needs to be better. And then the olefin plant ones, like, spending nextlit. I mean, this is fine, but you are spending nextlit, so you do have to bear in mind that this is going to use some space to make Nextlet. Otherwise, it's also a pretty decent recipe. Nextlet plus olefins, because olefins you can make out of aromatics, which you can make directly out of mushrooms and flowers, infinitely. No limited resources required, especially when you consider that Nextlet is made out of tailings, and tailings are, well, also pretty free in that regard. Alright, let us continue on. So, I was talking about this. We've got mushrooms and Relesia flowers. So Falgi and Relesia to make the aromatics to feed into the reformers with nice line of hydrogen production and oxygen, but we're just venting oxygen here. Some soil to feed the flowers. Water feeds into the mushrooms, and all of the petroleum gas that gets made out of here, we've got 8. I think that's 800 per second. 400 per second. It's all being converted into sulfur. Because for some reason, we have a really high sulfur demand. And I've finally overcome my demand for sulfur. Thank God. I needed a lot of sulfur in my base. Then again, a lot of it's also being converted into sulfuric acid with iron, and I don't like doing that particular way. Speaking of iron, I wanted to look at you. Why are you not making me any steel? Why are you not making me any steel? Because all of my molten iron don't tell me what to do. I'll make sulfuric acid however I want to make it in any given circumstance. Plain as day. Rather simple, that. Is that... Where's... The arrow is pointing down there, so we're not making molten iron. Okay, what's choked? That's the question now. No pulp... Oh... Maybe we have... Oh. I think I might have an idea. I might have an idea here. Let's, see. Like, I know that... Look, I know about this recipe. I know about this recipe. Alright? I know that this exists. I'm not doing this recipe anywhere in my base right now. Like, this recipe does not exist in my base right now. When I set up something for this, I will set up something for this. But until then, I need some amounts of sulfuric acid, and I don't have the acid gas to feed this right now. When I really get into doing the tailings separation and get into doing the tailings into tailings dust recipe, which will be a primary source of acid gas once I really start making tar from iron. So you're still not getting around the iron input on the sulfuric acid, by the way, if that's how you're doing it. You're still not getting around that iron input. That will be when I start doing that recipe. Big time. So, let's see. We've got a lot of iron slime. We have 100 iron slime, but no pulp 1. What's happened with my iron slime? Where is this going? In here. This has gone into full unslimed iron bins. Okay. Who's consuming the unslimed iron? You. You consume the unslimed iron. Petroleum sulfonates. There's our bottleneck. Petroleum sulfonates. Why is the petroleum sulfonates not moving? Because this crude oil is not moving. Why is this crude oil not moving? Because of no tailings. Well, this is awkward. Why no tailings? Why know of the easiest thing? What's going on with this pipe of tailings? This pipe of tailings? Ah. Because the tailings are being used in a lot of other things right now from that location. I've got plenty of other spaces for tailings. Let's not worry too much about that right now. And it's not like I need too much of that crude oil anyway. It doesn't need to be operating at 100%. So let's see. We've got tailings up here, don't we? Yeah, we've got tailings up here that would otherwise move if we were actually using all of this saline. Where is a consistently moving saline? Up here. Where again? Where was that consistently moving saline? Where was that consistently moving saline? Here. Right here. Say hello. Say hello to infinite tailings. Say hello to 12 things making tailings. All at once. Each set of 4 is like practically 1,200 units of tailings. Hello, Jessa. Good to see you. I'm out of coffee, apparently. So I need to make use of the tailings coming out of here. Better use of these tailings, because most of this is being voided. This line here being pulled off, essentially, I believe is just becoming... Yeah, this is becoming tailings dust, and the acid gas is becoming sulfuric directly. You use all your tailings for Nextlit. Yeah, I am using some for Nextlit. I would argue that Nextlit with ground boring is good as well, but there's a few competing things for use of your tailings, including tailings dust. If you do the vanadium chain. If you do the vanadium chain, cough cough, wink wink nudge nudge. If you do the vanadium chain, you'll need a lot of tailings dust. By the way, the vanadium chain is really good. It's really good. By comparison to the output of the particle accelerators, I no longer see a problem with this chain. Like, this chain is not bad. It's quite a few steps long with fairly heavy outside input use, but in and of itself, it's okay. It's okay. Definitely not as bad as it's made out to be. And the overall output from just the single buildings, like just one building across the board there, like and at the very end you can have a few more actually on that final step. Like the output is significantly greater than particle acceleration. Like there's no contest. Yes, the particle acceleration uses a lot less space, and it's like just plop it down and there it is. Yeah, and it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy as well. So I honestly think I'd rather do the vanadium chain itself. Now, where am I going? Up, 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 and away to here. And we are going to yoink off this. Ooh. I need to bring this over where now? Where again? Here. Somewhere. Where? Here. Here. Ew. 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 This line's used, this one's used, this one's used, this one's free? Until here? This one's used, this one's used, this one's used. What about this one? This one right here. This one's free. Until here. Wonderful. Wonderful, magnificent, fantastic things. Alright, let's try to make a determination here. So it goes until that oxygen, right? And I am standing way over here. So if I can find a way from the top and then down, that would work a little bit better. From the top and then down. So what am I looking at here? This line? Nope, that's chlorine. Not this line. Not this line, not this line, not this line. Not this line. This line? Yeah, this line. This line, I think. I think we found a winner. Yeah, we found a winner. South of the gasoline. And it's used for saline next door. Alright, good. Make use of this. Getting more and more difficult to find paths on the existing grid. And then where do I go south again? I don't remember. Stuffs. Yeah, so Ultimate Belts mod. The undergrounds are amazing. Just to reiterate, the undergrounds in the Ultimate Belts mod are absolutely fantastic. Alright, we go south here. Gosh, and I actually have some tailings that exist that get voided there too. So it's like, that just hurts. This hurts so much. Because it's gonna be like, hey, let's bring tailings from above, right next to another technical source of tailings. Like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Sure. Only issue being, I need to get that there. So the solution here is... that. Squiggles! Let's do squiggles. That brings this down. And then try to figure out some way in hell that we are going to get this done properly. That actually needs to be there. Wow. Oh yeah. Hey, we actually have a tank of oleochemicals. Why have I not been tapping into that? I have no idea why I haven't tapped into that. I'm sure that doesn't need to exist. Yeah. Oh boy. This is gonna be fun. Okay. Here's what we do. We do that. That. That's not gonna work. How far up can I go? Oh, right there. That works. That doesn't. That does not work. That does, though. Ta-da! We did it. We did it! We spaghettied it into place. Welcome, tailings, again, to make my sulfonates. My immense amount of sulfonates that I only need a very slight fraction of for this high-grade processing of iron. You only need 33.3 at most. No, like 66.67 at most, and we're not even really consuming that much unsigned iron. Like, okay. Alright. Sure thing. That should get all this moving again. Oh yeah, I've totally got, like... So every single time I have a guar set up, I have several of these guar things all around the place, all strewn about. Yeah, each one has a tank just full of carbon dioxide. It's like, oh hey, I have all this carbon dioxide I can just tap into whenever I want, and yeah. Yeah, the biological buildings, unfortunately, we won't be seeing better mark levels of until much later. Much later. By the way, why are the mushroom farms going to be like incredibly small fractions of a crafting speed? Don't think I didn't notice that. That the Mark 2, 3, and 4 on the mushroom farms are going down to like 0.001 crafting speed. Like, uh, excuse me? So, when you say that you need to build a lot, you really mean that we'll need to build a lot. Ha, plants growing in real time. Yeah, see about that. We're going to need a lot of stuff. So we fix this. What's next on the agenda as we continue to wait for purple science? Because I can't really make many Mark III buildings until I've got Fusion Energy 3. Until we get Fusion Energy 3, I can't make biopolymer. So, or what? What? Yeah, because silver foam. Because you can't make silver foam for biopolymer until you have Fusion Energy Mark III. So you need to wait until this tech before you can actually make biopolymer. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that would be why. Because biopolymer is silver foam, urea, collagen, nail gas, and diesel. Silver foam, which is locked behind Fusion Mark III. That's why I went through and I made silver zinc alloy. We have all of the other stuff. I needed silver zinc alloy for the silver foam, and I needed nail gas and diesel for the silver foam. And that's what we did in the previous stream, is we made the canal gas, the canal gas, and the diesel. Superconductors, then. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Superconductors, huh? Which of these buildings will require superconductors? Well, superconductors. Yeah, used for several Mark III things. Gold, substrate, silver zinc, rare earth magnets, and liquid nitrogen. I would need to make the magnets and the substrate. The magnets, I would need the powder, the alloy. I could make the alloy. I could make the alloy, especially now, since I'm, particle accelerating the creation of boron. Especially since I'm now doing particle acceleration for my boron. Which, speaking of efficient recipes, that's actually my preferred method now of boron. Now that I have the ability to crush coke to use for that particle accelerator recipe to make the boron, yeah, I'm definitely doing that. Because screw the boron chain. And its infinite slowness and massive consumption of all of the HCl and refined syngas. Like, screw that recipe. Screw it into oblivion. Let's see here. I'm assuming it's this building. So, rare earth magnet is here. What about the alloy? Yes, this is the alloy. We're already making, by the way, the chromium cobalt alloy. We are making that. We are making the carbon aerogel. Of course, we are making the phosphate glass. I need the 70% uranium powder on the heavy fermion, but otherwise, I've got everything else. Oh yeah, that's the other thing we did last time. Which reminds me, last time I also set up additional rare earth. Additional rare earth exists right now. So we've got all of the rare earth. Why are you not operational? The F? Things. Things and stuff and BS. You. How much oxygen? Enough. Split water. Split the water. And then that's like unfortunate amounts of hydrogen. Where are my... not burners. That's... yeah, that's fine. Doink. Doink. And... doink. Congratulations, we have rare earth. we have the rare earth alloy. Because we have all of this stuff. Technically. We technically have all of this stuff being made. Anyway. What will be fun? What will be fun, Pyanodon? All the rare earth stuff? Because we've got rare earth. For reference and for trivia, rare earth being one of the only things that you need to mine. It is 100% necessary. The U70, right. The whole uranium processing chain to get to 70% uranium. Yeah. That will be quote-unquote fun. And maybe the reason why I actually start mining uranium. Because I can't be converting gold to ore forever. Like, that... It's a fun thing to do, but in terms of actually wanting to complete the game, not the best of options. Not the best of options in terms of actually wanting to complete the game. So... yeah, we'll have to start mining our 2 mil uranium at some point. Yet another thing that is going to consume our sulfuric acid. Like, good thing I'm, like, sort of making stuff. Good thing I'm sort of making stuff, right? Where was I? Down here to fix a issue with that being a thing. Yeah. So, sort of need all of the burners operating. We've got several random things. Very random things. Although... really? I'm full? Please don't be full. I should do this with the iron ore as well. At the very least. At the very least. Maybe even the gravel and the stone. Oh, right, and there's... totes... wait, how did... who's shoving uranium? Oh, it's you. You're shoving uranium. Yeah, I sort of do want both of those things into chests. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't put the thingy on the network, did I? Didn't add the output chest. Technically, that would mean that this needs to be there. There we go. It's a source of very little uranium. It is a source of an extremely small amount of uranium. 10% chance of producing a unit of uranium. And at max, it's 0.6, so 10% of 0.6. Why red chest and not filtered yellow? What would a filtered yellow even do for me? I want it available. I want it fully available on my network. Why would I want filtered yellows? Like, I want it to fill, and then excess gets voided. Fill it and void the excess. These have major use. This other stuff, the stone and the gravel, I don't care as much about on the stone and the gravel, just because if I put it on the network, it's going to end up going to chests that are buffer requesters that void the excess anyway, so they just end up getting voided anyway. Increased priority. It's not ever going to bottleneck the rare earth because it's going to void the excess anyway through the burners. And it's constantly going to be making use of uranium. Probably won't constantly make use of the copper plates, but they're just gonna void them anyway. Don't care about using them. Just like this oxide is being converted right into iron plates. I could convert it into unslimed iron and actually have a means of getting extra steel out of it, but need more plates. Must have plates. This probably will fill up with the iron ore. Doesn't matter to me. I've got lots of ore. I've got lots of iron ore. So that's, like, fixed, taken care of. What next? Go back and put the output on the rare earth thingy. The rare earth alloy. Wherever the heck I put it. Where did I put that thing again? Up here? Yeah. And then how are these doing? Do I have any Mark IIIs yet? Nope. Totally going to make use of this, by the way. Hopefully before I update. Oh. It is 11:30. Which means that it is time. I'm going to place this output that is apparently missing up here. And then it is time to take a break. So where did I put that again? Right here. Needs an output non-zero. Non-zero rare earth alloy. There we go. There we go. See? Rare earth alloy. It exists. And then you, like, crush it and then make it into the magnets. Anyway, I am going to take a brief break, and I will be back shortly. That was a quick one today. Just a quick break. Let's get back into it. So, do you think it's cheating if one uses stacking belt boxes to compress stuff sent to the burners? Right, because the burners would burn a stack of 5 as a single item, wouldn't it? Technically, it might, yeah, it depends. Like, on the one hand, you're able to save the entities, On the other hand, you are literally compressing garbage, as Pyanodon says. So you're trying to you're using less burners in the end than what you otherwise would by a factor of, well, up to a factor of 5, right? Because a stack by default in deadlocks stacking belt boxes is 5. Um, but you're not throwing a full throughput in anyway, regardless. So, at least I hope not. But I mean, let's see. Each burner can burn like about an item per second, little over an item per second, uh, so that they don't deadlock. You have 3 that's like 2 point something per second for for 3 of them. If you have one in the middle dedicated to just burning the ash that gets produced out of the burners anyway. So you would need to have greater than that as an input to see much savings from the stacking anyway. So yeah, it can be useful if you're building at a really big scale that is producing a lot of excess byproducts that you don't need anymore, greater than several per second, shall we say, that would otherwise have a big line of burners to get rid of. So, for example, somewhere up here, I have this. I have this. If I could belt box the excess quartz, crushed quartz here, if I could belt box the excess crushed quartz, I could use significantly less burners here. Similarly with the excess on the iron oxide that's getting burned, as well as down over here. Where is this one? This set of burners again, right here. This would probably be a little bit more useful. So this array of burners is for burning meat and bones. However, it is consuming it is burning significantly less meat and bones these days, because I did end up setting up actual conversion of meat and bones into bone meal somewhere or other. Somewhere I set up meat and bones into bone meal in Jaw Crushers. I've completely forgotten where. We did that the other day. It's completely out of my mind. I've completely forgotten. So what is the actual RE alloy? Really? What did you actually call this? Just the NDFEB alloy. Alright. It is only used to make powder. It is only used for the powder. In ball mills, of course, it's ball mills. I have ball mills. I have lots of ball mills. So really, I don't even need this on the network, technically. Because it's only ever going to be used to powder it. And I'm going to make the assumption, I'm going to make the leap of faith and say that the powder is only going to be used to make the rare earth magnets. Well, you can burn lard. You can burn lard. He's saying it's used as a way of getting rid of bone. Bone into lard, he's saying, is nice to get rid of the excess bone. because you basically will always have some sort of a use for lard, and you can of course burn excess of other stuff. So he's just using vent as generic get rid of void. Huh? Oh, power. Right. Duh. Power! Yeah. It's like, hey, it's a pretty good guess that this is just going to be exclusively used to make the magnets. The question of the day is, does it productivity? Hell yes it does. Hell yes it productivities. Abso-frickin-lutely. We've got productivity. But, if we're going to productivity anything, we're going to productivity the magnets. Start from the end and work your way back. Wow, that's a lot of powder. Holy crap, that powder goes a long way. Alright. Sure. Wow, that powder definitely will go a long way. It'll feed... Actually, it'll feed a fourth as well. Sure thing. Don't need the powder. Copy, paste, paste. Output, output, output. So, borax. Why is my borax not moving? That's a good question. I have the nickel, and it's on the way. I have the field rods on the way. I have the sand castings on the way. That borax, though, why is my borax, like, non-existent? How, again, do you change color of what? Of your character? The right one is one tile off. Yes, it is. Alright, thank you. Because this would be, like, going massively if I actually... Oh, hey, here we go. Here it comes! Ta-da! Non-zero rare earth magnets. There's the magnets. I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna be picked up. Yeah. Picked up immediately. Picked up immediately. Color of you in the, like, the Twitch chat text? Like, your color in Twitch chat? Yes, alright. That would be... I think it's in chat settings? I don't know. I don't change my color all that often. Like, if you have... I mean, that's just the sound of the Steam pictures, screenshots. That's Steam screenshots right there. Just, it's F12. Screenshot shaved. So, rare earth. magnets get used in several Mark III buildings, because of course they do, as well as in these superconductors as well, and in the substrate for the superconductors. Alright, I've got a means of getting MSA. Done, yeah. Alright. Yeah, I see your color has changed. Now the thing about Twitch chat colors is, like, there's a way, I think it's if you have Twitch Prime, you can set your own distinct color that gets used across the board. Otherwise, it's sort of like randomized. I don't know, there's something about the colors in the chat. Names get randomized. I don't know what the actual reason is. So we would need superconducting magnetic units, which I can make right now. I can make this right now. Moly, deposited vanadium, circuit 2s, and liquid nitrogen. Now, I am making deposited vanadium already. I am making that right here. As you can see, we have deposited vanadium right here being made. And we have some of that stored. Oh, we actually... Hello! I've thought ahead, haven't I? I am already making... Yeah, I just add liquid nitrogen. Just add liquid nitrogen, and I have that. Alright. Cool. So, that superconductor substrate will need MSA. It's done in PCB factories. Okay. So I'll need some, like, cadaveric aurum greenhouse stuff. I'll need to do this probably around my circuit 3s. Actually, you know what? I will reposition this. I will go over here and pick this up, because this is nowhere near my liquid nitrogen anyway. I'm going to cut this. Really? But I want the things that I'm holding on to. There. We're going to do this over by circuit 3s, because that's where I have MSA, DMS, all that good stuff. Liquid nitrogen. All of that's being made where my circuit 3s are being made. So if I need to scale up anywhere, that would be the place. And I can actually get a look and see just what the heck my bottleneck is. Oh, hey. So, I think I've got some red science. Just for reference, I've got some red science on my network. I need to do something with it, though. Because red science is used in nuclear samples for purple science. It's like, it's weird. You need red science to make purple science. Okay. Sure. Why not? Also, why did I not do... Why didn't I not do rare earth here? Like a 656K right there. By the way, so I came across this mod called the Infinite Resources mod. And it actually works with PyMod's resources. I want to throw that out there. I found a infinite resource mod that actually works with PyMods to make ore patches infinite. And I'm pretty sure it's just called Infinite Resources. It's real neat. Oh yeah, you need to be upgraded. You need to be Mark IIs with extra productivity modules. Once I do the update and it gets the productivity modules. Oh, that's a fair amount of phosphate glass. Yeah, so here's like here's the MSA being produced ever so slowly. Ever so slowly as we get stone wool. Wow, that is... So I think I'm a little behind on the amount of stone wool being requested. Do I fix this now? I probably should. Because if I'm going to scale this, it's going to need a lot more stone wool. Half per second per building. How am I sending the sand into this? Am I just requesting sand? Why am I requesting sand? Why am I making my robots send me sand? Where is the acid gas coming from? Oh, particle acceleration. Right. Or no, not... Tholins! Tholins. Getting my infinite resources confused here. Tholins! Right. So this is my Circuit 3 setup, by the way. It all fits in this little space. We built this a little while ago. Why no etching? Why you no etching? So these are lacking inductor 3s. Which I think are missing the flux cores, magnetic cores, cladded cores, really? Cladded cores. I find that very interesting, particularly because I should be making the cladded cores in here. Here. Lack of cladding for the cladded cores. From lack of speed of delivery of glass? Yeah. That's exactly it. And then it's being immediately used as well, so that also plays into it. I need to do some limiting on the later steps here. I need to do some limiting, so I need to actually physically go over there. But I do want to plop this down over here because we've got our liquid nitrogen, or a liquid nitrogen source over here right now. And this would make it much more convenient of a location. That is not the location. That is not the spot. This will be the spot. Huh. How did the requester chest get limited? I needed to limit the provider, not the requester. So that will be these being made. And then was it you? No, the next thing was the substrate itself is in the PCB factory. That's right. PCB factory. Let's see. Any Mark II's been made? No. So I guess I better go forcibly make some circuits and take care of that. So a few things to do here. A, we have to go over to our circuit 2 production zone, do some limiting there, so that we can actually get those cladded cores going, and once those can end up accruing on the network, that will help out with being able to actually make more circuit 3s. As dumb as that sounds, we need to limit something involved in circuit 2s to be able to make more circuit 3s faster. Ay, ay, ay. As we go on, we shall appreciate our close to 1 million units of blood. Our lots of blood being made into blood meal. We shall look at all of the glorious creosote being made as well, being turned into stone wool primarily. All of the guar, all of the Circuit 2 stuff here. So here's more Circuit 2 stuff for reference. Yet more Circuit 2 stuff. But our interests lie up here in this. A, why is it not getting enough glass? There just isn't enough glass. B, we need to limit you. Limit you. Hello. Full container of optical fiber. Like, really now? Really now? So I think I have optical fiber to last for a little while. I think we have a pretty good buffer, especially considering that the main bus itself also has a full thingy of the optical fiber. The coating gets requested for other stuff, I think, at some point. The Kevlar coating might, I don't know. But the idea here is by limiting it, we're now going to back up on this until it stacks up 200, and then this will stack up 200, and then this will stack up 200, and then we'll start stacking up our cladded cores. Or, yeah, our cladded cores here. And that will help fix things. It'll take a bit of time for all of that to propagate, but anyway. That would be that. Any circuits being made here right now? Or are we incredibly bottlenecked still? Inductor 2s. Of course it would be ferrite. That's limiting these. Where's... Ah. Yeah, of course. Of course, the number one biggest bottleneck on our base. Nichrome! I keep fixing this nickel. Is this nickel still moving? Yes, the nickel is moving. It is now the chromium that is the bottleneck. Oh joy. Let me guess. We are lacking in drilling fluid 2 because we don't have enough silver to feed the drilling fluid 2 to feed the chromium. That would be my guess. That would be my guess as to the bottleneck here, because that's one I've known about. We are most likely nearly out of drilling fluid 2. No, we've still got drilling fluid 2. Huh. But it is emptying. Alright, that's a little strange. Boric? What? Oh, right. We had a broader issue with not having enough boron. So what was limiting the, or what was the issue on the boron? Oh. Apparently drill heads. Apparently, I simply don't have enough drill heads. Which has been leading to a, you know, positive feedback loop that we're trying to break. We're trying to break a positive feedback loop here. Hello, Callie. Yeah, so because the tailings into crude oil wasn't making the crude oil for the petroleum sulfonates for the high-grade iron processing, we didn't have enough steel. We ran out of steel for drill heads, so we didn't have enough drill heads then to do any of the processes that require drill heads, and it seems as if we ate through any excess amounts of molten chromium in the meantime. I'm pretty sure we still have chromium. Like, we've got this huge supply of chromite sand just sitting, a big supply of chromite sand. But because we don't have the borax to process into the molten, we sort of ran out of some stuff here. But we've still got full containers of the chromium. We still have plenty of the actual chromium plates. We just ran out of molten, basically. That's why we're now nichrome limited. So I know that's like a long chain of events to think of, but just to put it this way, the lack of tailings for iron has caused us to not have molten chromium for nichrome. And it's because it didn't have enough steel for the drill heads for the borax. Or for anything else, for that matter. Or for literally anything else. Because I have buildings. I have buildings to make drill heads. But it's the steel that's being bottlenecked right now. And that will improve now that I fixed that lack of tailings problem. However, I may want to forcibly make more steel. More steel would be nice. I may... Well, essentially what's happening is now I'm waiting for the boxes here to fill up with iron. specifically this box is slowly filling, and once it slowly fills, then we'll get even more molten iron going into steel. But until then, some other things that I can do. I'll go over to it for one. Really now. That's another impending issue. Likely also driven from a lack of drill heads, but anyway. More oof. More oofs. Yes, lots of oofs. Lots of things that need adjusting. At least we've got fuel rods. Is science stopped? I think so. Like, I'm pretty sure that it's barely moving right now. Partially because of not being able to actually make purple science because of a bottleneck on the nuclear samples somewhere. So, more steel is required. You see how this number is very, very, very slowly climbing? This number is very, very, very slowly climbing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to limit it to that. And that will ideally back this machine up. Ideally, it will back this machine up. Actually... You know, I may just want to kill myself by making this evenly distribute. Let's just do that. Oh boy, I'm probably gonna regret that decision. For reference. Because that's gonna feed all of the molten steel. All of the molten steel. Like, how much molten steel? 12 BOFs of molten steel. So these are all going to go now. Excess is going to go into stainless and super. Now the stainless box, yeah, that also needs more, but we'll stop it at 1. Yeah, because we're going to have excess steel now. Oh boy, what a difference one little change makes. What a difference one little change makes. But, I think it was necessary. Pretty sure it was necessary. Now, I will also note that all the way down here, some stuff should be moving in, but not the stainless steel. So the stainless steel down here, from the main bus is no longer getting phosphate rocks because we are completely tapped out right here. This phosphate rock setup is dead now. It's all mined out. So all of the phosphates and processing that existed out here, it's dead. It's dead. Now all of our phosphate stuff is being made up in here from this mining. Apparently, I don't have... Right, drill heads. Apparently, I don't have drill heads. Gee. I wonder what the problem could be. Why don't I have drill heads? It might have to do with the fact that I don't have steel for it. Enough steel for it. So yeah, this is exclusively all of our stainless steel now. Being fed with the phosphate rocks from here in this phase. Build a mega phosphate mine. Doesn't use... Wait, the mega phosphate? The big phosphate mine doesn't use the mega drill heads. Well, there's only one way to actually find that out. And that is to actually build a big phosphate mine and place it. It does? Oh boy. Oh boy. Mega drill heads. I mean, it's not like we can't make mega drill heads. For reference, I can absolutely make mega drill heads. Let's actually just do that. Let's just make mega drill heads. Although, question, can you productivity module mega drill heads? Who can, like, look that up in, like, 10 seconds? Can you productivity module mega drill heads? If so, I absolutely want to use one of these assembling machine 3s. Yes, as in it can, for mega drill heads, use productivity, because that would be most ideal. As far as you remember, alright. Good. Because the last thing I want is to, like, actually make mega drill heads, and, well, I guess I should say full stop after that. Just, I don't want to make mega drill heads, full stop. But I don't want to make mega drill heads without productivity, if they can use them. Because just, it's a lot of helium. It's like, it's a lot of helium. And it's a lot of super alloy. Like, that's a lot of super alloy as well. But if this can use productivity, I'm not carrying any productivity with me right now, but I absolutely have all of the things. I have an entire chest full of super alloy. I didn't actually realize that the chest was full, by the way. I didn't realize that chest was full. So I have a full chest of super alloy. Ahem. Full chest of super alloy. Let's go forcibly make some productivity modules. Like, I was gonna go down here. I need to get some, I need to get that stupid Mark II PCB factory for the, superconductor substrate as well. Because we're also working on that. Did you forget that we are making superconductor substrate? That has not left my mind. That I wanted to come down here to make, or to get some circuit 2s to make that as well. Let's steal stuff that's holding circuit 2s. Let's steal stuff that's holding circuit 3s, because my goodness, I need those as well. Yeah, let's make sure that I get 4 of these. It's 1, 2. I want a lot more than just 4 of these, but for now, I will go with the 4 of these. I wish I had enough resources to make 4 the level 2s, but when you actually look at these, by the way, the actual difference between a level 1 and a level 2 is really small. It's plus 4% productivity for a level 1, and it's plus 6 on a level 2. So it's only a 2% difference between a 1 and a 2. And you have a worse speed penalty on here. Or is it the same speed? That's minus 15, and that's also minus 15. So it's the same speed penalty, but plus 2 on the productivity. So, like, is it worth me giving up 4 productivity module 1s to make 1 module 2 right now? Not really. Not really. Also, why are you not being picked up and shoved into things? Because nothing wants you. Okay, well, I'll take you. I'll take you then. Sure, let's do that. We'll go on an adventure and I'll never use you. Why so few? Why so few of you? Oh, and I'm also... I need to, do something tricksy. Come on, autosave. Because of course it would. Alright. Borax. Borax. There we go. This is going to back up the, sand castings. Really? Hey, there's a much better supply of sand castings. By the way, Mr. Niobium Iron Alloy production, there's a much better source of sand castings right next door. If you'd be so kind as to not back stuff up on me. So this will back up the lane, basically. I don't need to store this sand castings here. Don't need to necessarily. Maybe I will. There. Do I have I do have big phosphate rocks places. Do I have one that's like within reasonable distance? Here? I have an 11 mil here. Right here. 11 mil. It's a decent distance away. Anything closer? I think maybe my base is covering one. My base might be covering something. Like, I've got these regular phosphates getting covered as well. I cover a lot of things. I don't know if I'm covering a big one, though. But I've got, like, a lot of small. Like, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 smalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4. Like, I'm not limited by the number of regular phosphates. I've got a 13 mil rock here. A 41 mil rock here. All within reasonable distances. So I've got a few of those rocks. And I've got a 4.9 mil here. So, you know, a few. 7.7 there. Yeah, phosphates forever. What in the world was I just doing? Looking at why the borax was having some issues? Yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Until... Alright, so it's getting siphoned off here, so we're using borax. Ah! We used some borax there, and it's backing up again. This is the other chromium. My other chromium is here. Oh, wait a minute. Doesn't that mean... I'm simply using too much, I think. I need to get rid of this overflow valve. I'm tired of this. I need to get rid of this overflow valve. I don't really necessarily need all of this chromium here. And I need the nichrome more. So this overflow goes into nichrome, basically, all the way down there. So we're just waiting on, like, overflow of stuff now that it's moving again. Get in the car. Let's see how my pipe finder is working today, and my rock finder. Go down and take care of that. Did I actually grab all 4? Yes, I did. Good. We'll take care of this. We'll head up and put the productivity modules in that mega drill head thing and, like, do the request, see it move, maybe. Be like, hey, mega drill heads. And then probably set up, like, the big phosphate mine, a building for the big phosphate mine. Maybe the other mines too while I'm at it. Not like I plan on actually using them. Cough, cough. Wheeze, wheeze. Not like I actually plan on using them at all. I almost hit my other car. Then I'll take the circuit 2s that I'm holding on to. We're going to go over and forcibly make a PCB Factory Mark II that I will set up to do the superconductor substrate. And then from there, set up the building to actually make superconductors. Like, then we'll have superconductors and everything will be awesome, right? Hopefully. Ideally, all will be amazing and super and awesome and magnificent. Get out of the car. So I need chromium because I have even more of these drill heads here. I shouldn't be doing this because these don't use productivity modules. Frick. 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 Down. Went too far. Down. Right. There. That's what I needed. / wanted. Now a fractional amount more will go into some molten. Yes, I know that normal drills use productivity modules. That's why I'm saying it's so... Normal drill heads use productivity modules, which is why I said it's unfortunate that I don't have that here. So as this gets things, what is it actually missing here? Oh, you know, just ore. Just ore. We're missing, you know, just ore in, you know, the casual lack of drilling fluid too, because we don't have the silver to feed the ethylene glycol to feed the drilling fluid too. Because we don't have silver for the ethylene glycol for the drilling fluid too. Not enough silver anyway. But it should improve with this moving again. Cough. Cough. Wink. Wink. Nudge. Nudge. Why are you not moving? How much dust does it take to do a cycle? It keeps shoving dust in and it's still not doing a cycle. There's a cycle. There's a cycle. Hello, silver. Hello, silver. So, basically, I'm very much inclined to do more, scale up my high-grade processing of the lead into silver specifically. That is a long cycle time as well. Wow. That is a long cycle time. There's some silver. Hey, there's some silver. I need significantly more than that. So up here, we've got lead here. We are limited on the ore, but it looks like we've got the drill heads coming again. That's good. The screeners are processing the ore into G1s. Yeah, we are limited on the production here, but that is improving. I've got both the drilling fluid 1 and the acetylene to get this going again. It was just the lack of the drill heads that was causing some issues. So again, this is another one of those things that the lack of the drill heads was causing. The overall lack of drill heads. So now we're going to get more silver through our lead processing, but I need even more silver than even if this was running at max capacity, so I'm going to have to just keep scaling. Like, I just have to keep scaling. Here's what I want to do. I want to do a double of my iron, high-grade iron. Doubling the high-grade iron is on the agenda, as well as at least double, if not tripling, the amount of lead into silver, particularly. Yeah, the only thing that will truly overcome the drill head crisis is just more steel and more iron production. Currently, being ground bored, technically speaking, is 4 yellow belts worth. It's like 60 per second of ore for iron, if I had all of the drill heads for it, which, guess what happens if you don't have enough drill heads? Well, then you don't have the iron to make the iron and steel for the drill heads. Yeah. So you end up in a positive feedback loop of doom. Death and destruction and mayhem. I'm stuck. You're empty. Oops. Didn't want that one to go. And the only real way that you can get around that is by basically making a dedicated I am ground boring iron and using the iron and the steel plus, chromium for drill heads, and then not have that iron or chromium on a network or on the network. It will exclusively forever make drill heads. That would be the primary way to avoid that being an issue. If you can always count on having a specific amount of drill heads per second, and if you require more than that, then sure, you'll use all of it, but you're not going to stop that production of drill heads. You would loop back your drill heads, by the way, as well. Anyway, so what I wanted to do was go to that mega drill head machine, which should be right over here to my left. Place these 4 productivity modules in it. I'm going to trust this is the This is the moment of truth here. You lied to me. Alright. Fine. Not on network. You shall fix that? Really? Really? You're actually gonna put the productivity on this? Frankly, yes, you should have productivity on this. You have productivity on regular... Wait a minute. What tab was that under? Hold up. Ah, so that was a pyro tab. Yeah, so this should have the productivity. I was about to say, if that was added under petroleum handling, then I could understand, because literally none of the things in petroleum handling use productivity modules, even though they should. Cough cough, small parts, advanced small parts, special small parts, bolts, belts, engine units. Every single one of these should use productivity modules, and they don't. And they don't. They simply don't. So, yeah, if the regular drill heads here can absolutely use productivity modules, there's no reason why the advanced, the megas, shouldn't. Yes, rubber itself as well. The carbon black for the rubber itself as well should use them. Yes, titanium tetrachloride absolutely should use productivity as well. That would actually make it worth using for reference. Titanium tetrachloride is used as a catalyst in a lot of things, so it would definitely be useful if you could productivity it. Really. If this could use the productivity. The thing is, it's like made out of the plates directly, so it's like, well, titanium tetrachloride. Yeah, it's exclusively a catalyst. I think anything that is exclusively a catalyst or exclusively an intermediate needs productivity modules. So titanium tetrachloride, absolutely, that's one of them. The other one is the tin chromium alloy. Tin chromium alloy is also exclusively used as a catalyst. This does need to use productivity, although I think this one already does. Like, I think this is one of the alloys that you can actually use productivity on, unlike other things. Anyway, request stuff. I don't think... Oh, look, 20 diamonds are on the way. All of it's on the way. We will be making mega drill heads once everything is on the way. Catalysts are expensive. Yeah, that's the problem. You see, the thing about catalysts is you usually end up with the catalyst being returned to you afterwards. A catalyst in the enzyme world, I should say, catalysts are things that are used to make processes happen faster. That is a catalyst. They make things happen faster. They are not necessarily completely eliminated in the process of helping make the thing go faster. And yes, most of the time you do end up with the catalyst in its original state at the end of that process, or in a state that's easy to return back to the original state. So oftentimes with enzymes, the catalyst may slightly change, but you just throw energy at it and it turns back into what it was. So and yes, catalyst cycles can absolutely be done in Factorio. Cough, cough. The returning of the lamps in the HCl recipe that I had suggested. That is how you do catalysts in Factorio. Yes, Angels does that too. Uses gosh, I hate some of the uses of the catalysts in Angels. But yeah, Angels, you have very specifically the electrodes now for electrolysis. You have electrolysis electrodes. It produces a used electrode that you can convert back into electrodes or into the materials to make the electrodes. You've also got a consistent input of ores for the multicolored, I'll call them multicolored catalysts. You've got the red, the blue, the yellow, the green. If you're running Mad Clowns, you also have the purple or the violet. So yeah, lots of Angels does it a few ways with the catalysts. You've got the catalyst where it uses the ore and returns the carrier, and then you actually have the item that's returning another item directly that you can convert back in the terms of the used electrodes and electrodes. So here's our non-zero mega drill heads, by the way. There they are. Mega drill heads exist now. Who plays with biters and has pollution enabled? Who has pollution enabled? Like, by the way, if you are playing without biters, do not forget to disable pollution because that mechanic's only used with biters anyway. You should always turn off pollution production if you have biters turned off because that will save you game performance. Because if you don't have biters and you have pollution on, the game is doing all the simulation of the pollution for no reason. So always be sure to turn it off to keep your game performance going at reasonable levels. So I guess I need to, like, make these buildings, right? These mines now? I guess I can make the mines. Where the heck do I want to make the mines? I don't even know. Where do I want these mines? How many mines are there, for one? I guess I'll do it here. We'll just do a... Wow, that's a lot of mines. Okay. We'll start with you. Don't need the salt. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more? In terms of which one of these I would probably use... Vanilla assemblers are better for malls. Yeah, I've found that out through actual experience. Partly because it's the request sizes. These machines are really fast, and you don't actually need the speed when building item malls, and you can very easily over request huge amounts of materials that you really don't want sitting around in chests like this forever in large amounts. Anyway, I'm going to place these down. I'm not going to put the requests in for all of them. I'll do it for the one that I'm wanting to make here, the phosphate mine. I'll do it for this one. Definitely reduce that amount of aramid. Definitely not. Don't want to carry around that many things. Definitely don't need to carry around that many things. Here, just for the halibut, we'll place down substations, just because I don't use substations all that much. Here, have our first actual use of substations. Because, sure. By the way, Pyanodon, idea. Make better substations. Better substations for your mods. Upgrades to substations, as well as upgrades to your versions of the roboports and recharging stations. Mark 2 through 4s of those. And beacons. Mark 2 through 4 beacons would be great. Yeah, poles. Basically, do Bob's just your art. Like, do Bob's just your art. On, like, all of the logistic stuff. What do you mean a few more valves? I don't... You have what you need for valves. I don't know what else you would need for valves. Probably not with the modules, though. You don't want to go overkill on the modules, but definitely the beacons. Like, definitely at least just the zone around the beacons. Like, not extra slots on the beacons. I think that's where Bob's gets a little bit too crazy, is it adds slots and it improves the efficiency of the transmission. So you can end up having a whole bunch of modules in a beacon, broadcasting the full effect of those modules, of a set of modules that are insane to begin with. Don't go that scale, but definitely have, like, upgraded effect areas around the beacons, so you can actually shove more beacons around a building to get more stuff out of it. Maybe just leave the modules alone, really. I mean, that alone is a pretty good buff. Late game bonus. Very late game bonus to help out with reducing the amounts of buildings that you need. A 60 to 65% underflow valve would be nice. I mean, I don't know. I just haven't come across any need for that whatsoever. So what are we, like, quote-unquote missing here? Why are you not delivering... So you are delivering the plates, the Nexlet plates. You're waiting on a little bit of circuits. I said a little bit of circuits, as well as control units. I was gonna use these circuits. Hold up. Circuits. Also, you have to love Pi for reducing the material requirements to make the mines, yet they still require mega drill heads, so you need helium and super steel before you can actually start using them. So that's another one of those instances, circumstances of, you know, needing to make something before, or being able to make something before you can actually use it, even if you do make it. That dang borax. Here, this way. To my left. Getting back on track. Slowly but surely. You. Make me that. Yes, it was because of my suggestion to reduce the cost, I think, because I said by the time that you are able to actually make these, they're not as useful anymore. But that argument still stands with the mega drill heads. It's like, well, by the time you can make the mega drill heads, they're not as useful anymore. My argument still stands. For the record. Ugh. Oh yeah, another reminder, all of my construction bots, every single construction bot right now is a Mark II construction bot. That was something I had done going into the previous stream, by the way. I forcibly removed every single Mark I from my network, so everything that remains of construction bots, all 2,852, are all Mark IIs. All shiny, beautiful Mark II construction bots. I did something similar with the cargo bots, but there's just simply too many of them to remove all of them all at once. And too many of them in use to remove all of them all at once. So still lots of the Mark I's around, but quite a few. It's now very consistent. You can see the dull tan boxes that are the Mark II bots, Logi bots, flying around. Very consistently, you can see the Mark II bots. They're almost always on screen now. But anyway. Grab these. Nothing is going to be built unless I allow those to back up, by the way. Yeah, head back up here, make the thing. Where did I do the things again? Over there. To my right. That? Oh, did you make one? No, you didn't. I just took all the circuits out of you. Control units. Control units are here. Oh, hey, look, it's circuits. It's our good friend, the circuits again. How many control units? 5. Oh boy. Is this even enough for 5 control units? I mean, if these were shiny boxes, if these were like just the chrome color of the other bots, the construction bots, that would make them look a heck of a lot cooler, but then you probably would have a hard time telling the difference between the two. I mean, aren't both blue anyway on high-tech versions? Also, boron. Much better boron production. Also, you don't have gold. Oh boy. So, all the way up. All the way up we're going. All the way up to where I have that stuff being made. How far further? There. Left. Go left. This is Rayon, by the way. Over in here. Rayon and Molly. This is molybdenum trioxide production, along with disulfide production. Eventually we'll use that disulfide for intelligent units or something like that. I think that's when they're used. A thing for the circuit 4s. They only get used for like one thing outside of the making more trioxide. Anyway, to my right. So we've got like all the stuffs, all the things, lots and lots of Nenbit matrix, and not a dang circuit 2 to help out here. This would be why the purple science is not moving, by the way. And I'm about to make things worse by saying, like, hey, make me 5 of these, if you can. Of course it would be 10... Oh, it's 10 to 2. Alright, good. I'm gonna steal 5 of these. And take them down and make that big phosphate mine, just so we can see the phosphate mine. And I swear, if this does not use mega drill heads... Oh boy, that'll be interesting. Interesting, to say the least. Move faster. If I had more oh, I do. Hey. There you go! Work more productively. That's ideal. Hey, work more productively. Sure. We'll go with that. You're still full? Yeah, I'm slightly confused because I am converting a lot of this particular line of petroleum into sulfur as well. So it's like, wait a minute. Huh? You're still venting? I'm pretty sure I added, like, several chemical plants making sulfur out of you? Huh. Very interesting. Anyway, back to the bus area. You can tell how organically I've grown this base. And I sort of have been learning building with robots and using robot bases along the way. Because for reference, this is the first time I've built anywhere even remotely close to this scale. Also, the first time I've ever tried to do something even remotely organized for a bot-based base. So really, I had to learn how to base after main bus. So, main bus, I waited a really long time to even start doing bot-based base, partly because I was just being really lazy and didn't want to learn how to grid. How to grid. Pretty much. And I said part of the reason why I didn't want to do it is because it would end up looking like just generic grid in the end. But it's necessary. 100% necessary. Would start grid as of green science, rather than waiting for circuit 2s. And blue science. Where are those buildings? To my right. there's a case. Stuff in that storage. You there. Make thing. Thank you for thing. In terms of other things, these are things that I would be very much interested in at all times. I will probably be using one of these, or multiple of these. And I think this might be the only one, actually. The only other one that I would reasonably use among these mines, these big mines. Just the uranium. Reason partially being... Exhibit A, 17 mil uranium ore sitting right on my main bus. Right on my main bus. I've just got a uranium right there. Quote unquote rock. I've got a 71 mil rock there of uranium. Let's see, I've got uranium ore, 4.5 there, 2.0 there. I've got... Pretty sure I have other uranium rocks strewn about. I see 71. 71 right there. 43 right over there. $10 right there. So we've got some uranium rocks and a 14 there. We've got a few uranium rocks that I am very interested in tapping into. I just need to make sure that I remember to do that to literally all of these things. Yeah, and they don't use the sulfuric acid. Yeah, that would be true. Now, as for, like, coal mines, chromium, aluminium, zinc... They're 10 per second, right? They're 10 per second on the output each. I see no point on copper. No point on copper, no point on nickel at all. Like, there's really no reason on either one, because copper ground bores with lube and coal gas. Nickel is basically just tar. Nickel is tar. And the other stuff is like drilling fluid 2s or 1s. It's like, yeah, it would save me a modicum amount of drilling fluid for the rest of the things. Not really on the coal, but coal is mushrooms. So, and then raw coal, I just have to laugh with raw coal. Lead, maybe. You think that they were buff recently. Yeah, they were, from 5 to 10. Because I said that they only mined at 5 per second, because the rocks had a 200% mining time on them. Every rock has a 200% mining time on it. So what was the rock? What was the rock that I wanted to, like, do the tapping? Probably this 11 mil. Now, note that that's productivity, right? That's pre-mining productivity, because all of these buildings get affected by mining productivity north of the base. which... The big rock north of the base? I see we've got zinc, iron, zinc, aluminium, nexolite, quartz, titanium, zinc. It was the titanium, yeah. Alright. I'm also going to have to put a logistic request in on the mega drill heads, and I'm going to have to do that and, like, ship it, because the bots, you know, I've got... Oddly enough, if I load up the logistics network, we've got... The bots can do the thing. They can actually grab the drill heads here and fly down and deliver them here. That's actually completely possible. Now, it is technically time to end off the stream, but I want to at least place this. Now, does this still use syngas? Because if so, then we're not actually going to see it move today. But either way, it uses the whatever drill heads. Hey, there's some molly. I can tap into some molly right there. That's totally a thing that we could do. Tap into some of that molly, or some of this borax. Hey, there's some borax sitting right there. But yeah, so you know, the point of this base is to do whatever I can without mining, but there are some things that you really just can't get around all that easily. Rare earth being necessity mining, phosphates being one that is going to be a necessity because you need too much of it, and then the uranium at this point being another. So yeah, mega drill heads. 20% mining productivity means that we get 12 per second out of here. 12 per second. I'm just gonna do this because I don't want to, like, shove the stuff. I know this is, like, seemingly a waste of belt, but you know what? We're just gonna do it this way. It was raw ores, and it was these. Bring me these. Now, a lane of blue is more than 12 per second, so I'm not concerned. Ta-da! Here's your big mine. Let's see the animation once the robots bring down the mega drill heads. I'm not actually carrying around any, sadly. I should have probably thought about that beforehand. But the bots should get here. They are on their way. They're flying down. 51 of them. Could probably see them as they come in and pick these up. Slowly but surely. Eventually. They will get there and then they'll fly. Oh, there they are. Hi. Hi, bots. Oh, there's the first batch of drill heads. Modules? Question mark? I could module, but I could 5 module this. Hey, let's we'll do that. Yeah, that. Let's use less mega drill heads. That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a fantastic idea. Efficiency on these. It's moving. There's your animation for this particular type of mining. prod too. Yes, you should be able to do productivity on this. But it does slow it down. That's the downside. It will slow it down. I'm carrying around these. Yes, it does get affected by beacons. So you can actually speed beacon these things as well. I would argue that these have so much on the expected resources that productivity isn't necessary. Yes, you definitely want the negative 80% on the consumption always. No matter how you get it, beacons or otherwise. But also, you can speed it up to get more per second. You can productivity module. You can do 5 productivity modules inside and then beacon the efficiency down to negative 80. That would be good. And maybe try to get the speed back up to 12 or 15 or so. But yeah, you can do lots of module shenaniganry. And this is a really big building, which means you can put a lot of beacons around it. That's the upside of big buildings, is you can fit a lot more beacons around bigger buildings. So anyway, and you can see we've got 50 mega drill hits sitting here. Look at how slowly that moves. Look at how that hasn't even moved. It's barely moved. And we're getting 12 per second. Now you can do the math. 12 units per second for 11 million units. So I'll do this calculation and then we'll end it off for today. So 11 million units divided by 12 per second, divided by 60 seconds per minute, divided by 60 minutes per hour. This will last 254.63 hours. So it will last about the double the amount of time that we've currently spent on this base. I would argue it would last until we're done. At 12 per second, pretty much. So, and that's at 11 mil. I've got others that are bigger, and now we're going to have robots coming in to... Oh, joy. Now we're going to have robots coming in to do this, and they're going to have a bit of a trek to get back. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought they were going to do. They're going to go, and then they're going to go over this way, and then they're going to zigzag. But anyway, we've definitely reached the end of the day today. Yes, imagine with beacons. I am imagining with all of the beacons what that can be. It mines 10 per second before mining productivity tech. Yes, the 2 does come from tech, which means it will be going up as we tech up to 40 and then beyond from the additional tech. So it would be 300. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's technically you're getting 2 per second for free. So really, when you do the calculation, you have to base it off the 10 per second, which then it would last much longer. You're full of joy now because someone's actually used your big building, the rock mine. Someone did a mega mine in an organic gameplay. By organic, you mean playing from the beginning, I'm sure, and not, like, going too crazy off of, like, infinity mode cheat type things. But yeah, we did the thing. I don't have a... Oh, I do have sight. So I do have sight. We can watch. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So with that, folks, I guess we'll end things off here for the day. I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat. If you are watching the VOD on YouTube, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you're so inclined, head on over to twitch.tv/OtakuShowboat to leave a follow to be notified when I go live Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to approximately 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. You can follow me on Twitter at OtakuShowboat, visit my website at otakushowboat.com, become a patron on Patreon at patreon.com/OtakuShowboat, as well as join my Discord server to take part in the growing community. The link is below the video, or through !Discord in the Twitch chat to join there. And please be sure to join the Discord to leave a vote for which version of Pokemon Sword or Shield to play next week, as well as which starter to use, because next week will be Pokemon Sword and Shield. I hope to see you all on our next stream on Tuesday.